Support comes from Sunday Morning Cafe, founded by researcher, speaker, and therapist Dr. Tom Wagner, offering mini retreats with live music and online resources to build resilience and community. SundayMorningCafe.com.
This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. The world of esports is growing rapidly. What was considered brain rot when I was a kid has become a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. Video games are outpacing the music and film industries by hundreds of billions of dollars. Yes, billions with a capital B. That's according to Georgia Entertainment. Here in Missouri, more universities are embracing esports by offering scholarships to athletes for games like Valorant, Overwatch 2, or Super Smash Bros. Video games have come a long way since Atari or NES. Here to share the opportunities these games bring to our region's youth is Rob Powell, founder and CEO of BGG Foundation. Rob, welcome to St. Louis on the Air.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. So happy to be here. Thank you for the time.
Oh, sure. So, Rob, I understand you are a gamer yourself.
Yes.
And you've had a career in video games before you started your own foundation.
Yeah.
When did video games go from a hobby to a career for you?
Oh, my goodness. So gaming has always been a part of my life. Been a diehard gamer as a kid. I've always loved how I was able to connect with people through gaming, from, my parents, my brothers, my sisters, to then students in schools. But it changed from a hobby to an actual, career, working in the gaming industry, worked for Sony, PlayStation, and seeing the scale of fandom, but also learning the business. So learning how to market games and then learning how to plan for a release. So like the new Spider-Man that came out, the new God of War that comes out, the new Horizon Zero Dawn, we were tasked to get that out to the community and retail. So different Best Buys, Walmarts, Targets, GameStops, Toys R Us, how PlayStation was marketed in those, stores. That was our job. That was my job. I overseen all of that in the Midwest. So it came to actually learning how to market the games, to learning how to deliver an experience to the fans through PlayStation Experience, through E3, through Comic-Con, through PAX East, PAX West. I was able to travel the world, the states, in a sense of just delivering a PlayStation experience, but also marketing the games. But it turned from that point of actually working in the industry to actually turning it into a philanthropy and actually giving it back to the community. When I've seen tournaments, I've seen people streaming, I've seen different things in the industry of how a fan could just go online and then create a movement around a video game that then turns people to want to play the game, but also wanted to celebrate the game as a community,
The way you talk, clearly, this is a very exciting thing for you.
I love it.
And BGG, what does that stand for?
BGG is Bruh Got Game.
Okay, where does this come from?
I started on YouTube. I streamed. So if you go to look up Bruh Got Game, you'll see me playing my games. I call myself the Black Fan from Adventure Time. Mm-hmm. So I used to play a lot of games that, I used to make my own intros, and, it's like the Adventure Time sword going into a controller. That's my world. But, it started on YouTube, streaming all the newest games, bringing people to E3 with me, Comic-Con, showing that I'm nice at all these games.
Yeah.
A lot of people would challenge me, putting belt to A, BTA on them, on the games. We put the culture around it.
And what games do you primarily play, Rob?
I'm really good at fighting games. So Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Super Smash Brothers. I'm decent, but not the nicest as my students. But Marvel vs. Capcom, a lot of games that were competitive because I come from a competitive family.
Mm-hmm. How do you go about, converting an audience to customers? And then I'm going to ask you the next part of that after.
Yeah, so I can put it from perspective. When I worked at PlayStation, I was tasked to delivering experiences. So I'll go to a Best Buy and set up a shop where we'll be able to put out all the newest PlayStation consoles, and then I'll do a demo for a PlayStation game. So if it's VR or if it's a exclusive that comes out, getting people's hands on the game changes their perspective, but also just having a good time, an inclusive good time in a place. I took that method and then brought it to schools so kids can be able to game in an inclusive, safe space. But it started from there. So, yeah.
Now, converting audience to customers and then
Yeah.
customers to people who want to support something like a philanthropy, was there a big leap there?
Yeah. It was a massive leap. But honestly, through Sony, they gave me a platform that was transformative because they gave all the workers 1 day a year to do anything philanthropic. So a lot of people do like Make-A-Wish. They'll do an epilepsy walk. They might do certain stuff with American Cancer Society. I took the initiative to say, I love St. Louis so much. I want to bring this to my community where the kids come from, where I come from, who look like me, who feel like gaming is so far out of reach that, they just didn't see that themselves in it. In our community, you have to see to believe. So taking that initiative, bringing PlayStation to the St. Louis Public Schools, shout out to Mel Carnahan, my Carnahan fam, but I brought it to them initially in 2016 and showed kids how to not only edit videos, but edit videos with the PS virtual reality.
Now, I want to make sure we get to esports
Yes.
because there are some folks out there who may not understand that video games are something that goes beyond,
Yeah.
a living room.
Yeah.
What exactly are esports, Rob? And
Yeah.
can any video game become a competitive sport?
No. Esports and gaming are two different things. Casual gaming, which we all play. You can't go to college playing Grand Theft Auto. You can't go to college playing, certain types of games that we play. Some universities might play those games, but at a collegiate level, you might not be able to go compete against another university at those games. So, it changes from casual play or a hobby to an actual, state level competition, elite university partnerships where they can actually find and scout you to play specific games. So esports is basically a regular traditional sport. You have to practice to get a win. You got to know how to compete as a team. You got to be able to have discipline and exude how to win and also how to lose. Certain games give you that platform to compete with your peers or compete as one person. So we're trying to, in a sense, create those platforms where our kids in our community are being scouted by multiple universities that are carrying esports.
Yeah. And on that university note, during your time at PlayStation, was esports within universities already something that existed, or was it still mostly professional leagues?
It did not exist like it does today when I worked in the industry. I seen it coming, though, when we used to do our own internal tournaments. So like I would go to E3 and there would be a tournament happening at E3. Or I used to go to EVO and see tournaments happening at EVO. But it wasn't at a community level. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to St. Louis and create this, because I didn't see a lot of gaming movements happening here in St. Louis where you can tie brands, opportunities with universities and government all into the same space that is around gaming, So, yeah.
So coming back to St. Louis, this
Yeah.
is where you started BGG Foundation, Braga Game.
That's right.
It is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
What exactly does BGG Foundation do?
Yeah. We like to say we turn our students and our community's passion for gaming into an actual tangible career. So we do different programs where we include gaming into STEM, or we teach people about, certain careers in the real world in VR. So if it's like dentistry, you can learn about dentistry in VR. You can learn about parking box trucks in VR. You can learn about being on an operation table in VR, job simulators. But we also do big tournaments where we help kids get paid who game, but also tie that to them getting scholarship opportunities to pursue what they want to pursue by doing what they love, which is gaming. So you can be a esport athlete and go be a doctor, go pursue your doctor's degree, but you'll do it while being on the esports team.
Do you recall a conversion story?
Yeah.
Were there people who were skeptical
Of course.
about this, and then you showed them an example of, and maybe it was one of the students who played, and
Yeah.
maybe it was you yourself.
Yeah.
Give me some sense of what it has taken to turn someone from a dubious individual into one who's down with it.
Yeah. It's constant showing and proving. And it's also, how can I say it? We are still at a generational divide where gaming didn't exist that had opportunities tied to, my parents and, different generations beyond me. But it took me going into the community, bringing my resources to the spaces and tying it to cash opportunities, have tangible things you can win. So we have like cool partnerships with the gaming industry. So we might get exclusive gaming swag that you won't find anywhere else. You will get PlayStation 5s. We also have Xboxes. We have Switches. But it's really just providing the university support within our tournaments. So back in 2023, we did our first ever tournament on the south side of St. Louis at the Whitfield Foundation. Shout out to Marlon Whitfield, who had the Whitfield Foundation. We brought all the equipment there. We did a big tournament live on Twitch. And UMSU was one of our first partnerships with the university, who supplied a scholarship to the winners of Super Smash Brothers. And that was the first time we presented a scholarship, within the city of St. Louis to a participant to pursue gaming, but also to do what he loves to do, So it took something like that. But the parents were there. We had the community there. We had, people within the gaming industry there. We had the government there, So it broke open this idea of my passion to actually create something tangible of a pipeline. So
how big was that scholarship? And was it less about the sum and more about what it represented?
Exactly. Now it was more about the actual impact of what happened with the scholarship and more so than how much it was. So esports is like a bubbling industry. So a lot of universities are giving cash away, but it's not the biggest full ride scholarship. It's to get you in the door. But it also complements your ability to game and also your ability to have a good GPA. Now, depending on how good your GPA is, that comes with more scholarship opportunity, more so than how good you are as a player. If that makes sense. It comes hand in hand. So you got to be good and you got to have good grades.
Yeah.
More opportunity comes.
So you got to have game in more than one sense.
In more than one ways, exactly. You got to have that game knowledge. And, that's all around the whole Brug Got Game aspect of what we do, because I have knowledge, I give game, but I'm also nice on them sticks.
Yeah. We're going to take a very quick break here, but we'll be back shortly to continue this conversation about esports and their growth in STL. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio. Welcome back. Let's return to my conversation with Rob Powell, founder and CEO of BGG Foundation. We're discussing the growing world of esports, competitive video game play, and associated pathways to higher education and professional careers. I'd like to bring another voice or player to the conversation. Fletcher Springfield is a rising freshman at Southeast Missouri University and an esports athlete. Fletcher, welcome.
Thank you.
So, Fletcher, you've been attending BGG Foundation's tournaments for some time now. Can you take us back to the first one? How did you do?
So, whenever I had first met Rob, it was like a random spur of the moment. He had popped up to my high school during my sophomore year and had started handing out some flyers saying, hey, we got this tournament going on at, I can't remember which one it was.
It was at the Legacy Center.
The Legacy
out
Center.
in Normandy.
Okay.
Yep.
So he had told us that we have this tournament going on and that we're offering like scholarships, we're offering like more community involvement. I'm like, you know what? I'll show up, I'll play, I'll see what I can do, I'll test my skills. It was my first tournament that I went to. Genuinely, I did good overall. I surprised Rob like off start because I had showed up, he had never really like seen me before or like play. And I'm going toe to toe with some of his like actual players.
Yeah. You came in swinging hard.
And I had said, you know what? Even though I lost this tournament today, I'm going to show up to more. I'm going to play. I'm going to keep going. And at some point that led to me becoming an intern for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did your family think?
My mom and my dad are like very supportive. So they were like, you know what? We will keep taking you to these as long as you are willing and prepared to give your effort and show your best. And shout out to my mom and dad.
Shout out to them, seriously.
They will help me with anything that needs to help me become a better person for my future. And they saw that Rob here with the BGG Foundation was a prime example of someone who could help me.
Yeah. It was really special. And honestly, what stood out to me when I first met Fletcher was just his attitude, his mindset to say, like, I didn't win, but, I'm confident enough to show up every time. But I also loved his family and the support that they poured into him to do what he was passionate about. And I think that's one of the biggest things that matter is parental support. Your parents have to want this for you as well. I can set you up for many opportunities, but if your parents don't supply that support, then, it won't really go anywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
At what point, Fletcher, did you start to realize that esports could be a pathway to higher education and even beyond that to a career?
Now, that's a really good question, because coming from a high school student into this industry of esports is very different than somebody going in as like somebody who's also already working. Now, in high school, they introduce you to so many things, so many different like opportunities, different networking. Like you can get yourself a job working behind a desk. You could work in construction, anything. Now, esports is one that they don't really mention as much, but they will still try and get you to find the things that you enjoy. So if they find that you don't have like access to like, I don't know, you're not the best person working with like maths, or you're not going to do a desk job, or you're not the best person working behind like lifting stuff, you're not going to do construction or something like that, they will bring you and they'll start introducing you to different clubs and everything. Esports happens to be one of them, and they gave it to us. And after so long of doing like just pure video game casual play, like how Rob had mentioned earlier, they were like, okay, we can give you this and we can show you what it looks like to play competitively. And after, I'd say, a week or two into that, if they find that you're like willing to continue to try your hardest, give your best, they will start mentioning things like colleges have scholarship money for esports, whether it be just commentating, playing, or just actually showing up and like helping out with everything. Now, I'm going to be going to SEMO for esports and technology management. Those two will not like break up in any way, hopefully. Like, I'll lay across my fingers.
Stay together,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They will hopefully stay together and will support one another. But colleges support heavily on that fact that kids want to make their skills better, whether it have been just math and they go for something across that lines, gaming as an example of what we're doing right now, or just what you're going to learn. They will genuinely bring that out of you.
Yeah.
Fletcher, tell me a little bit about the game that you compete in. Which one is it? And can you describe, very generally how it's played?
So Smash Bros. Is the main game that I play. It is a platform fighter, so your job is to try to stay in the middle of the stage without getting pushed too far off to like the left, right, up, or down of the stage of your screen, hopefully. And your main objective is to get rid of the other person's 3 lives, or however many they have at that moment, before they get rid of yours. Now, this on stream looks completely different than what it looks like actually sitting in person playing.
Big time.
Oh, how is that?
So stream, like when we do our tournaments, we have competitors, we have our monitors. We also run stream on Twitch and YouTube. So when he's saying how the environment is a completely different feeling from what you see on Twitch, is because you see commentating, you hear the music, you hear the players, you see the expressions of their faces, and, you can just see the passion pouring through the screen. But you can also see it in person, but it's a different feeling from like watching on stream compared to being there in person.
When you saw Fletcher play, did you know immediately, this one, he's got it?
I did, day one. And that's when I have a crazy video when we first met, Fletcher. I interviewed you, and just talking about his mindset. Like, I didn't win, I came close to top 3, but I'm going to be back. But him, actually, you went against, I want to say, Colin, and he had won previous tournaments of ours, and he was like one of the best ones that we've seen. But seeing Fletcher compete against him, almost 3-stocked him himself. And I think that's always been his demeanor every time he comes out to participate. He wants to win. He knows how to win gracefully, and he knows how to take an L. From seeing that, I knew he had it.
And that was when he was a sophomore.
Yeah,
that's quite impressive.
Day one meeting him, and Simone, your mom, really supporting what you do, bringing him out to all of our tournaments, and just making sure he's embedded in the community with us. That was everything.
Along with being an esports athlete, Fletcher, how else have video games introduced you to opportunities in education and career?
I would like to trace this back to when I was really young. Now, games as a whole have always been interesting to me, whether they have just been story games to help me learn how to like things like reading, as an example, or interpretation, or games like puzzle games that are meant to make you like think harder. Those games help you with like your education, as in like math, as an example. If you're sitting here and you're trying to figure out X, if you go home and you're playing like a game that's like a puzzle game, you're going to be sitting here like, how do I get this without doing this? And that crosses over, and it's like, you'll understand things a lot easier the more tricky they are if you've actually done like gaming, as an example. Or like I said with languages, English isn't just the only game, or isn't the only language that a game will use. They'll use languages like Spanish, Japanese, stuff like that, and you can start recognizing those words more and more. So if you're trying to go into like a trade where you're like needing to learn a language, if you already have that small understanding, it's like a small little curve over. You just got to go a little bit further and you can start learning it.
Rob, how do video games connect people to careers outside being an esports athlete?
Yeah. Gaming is the centerpiece to connection. I think a lot of people still have that bad stigma on video games as if, it's like isolation thing where you have to kind of like hole up in your house. But when you game with people, it brings the community together. But and I even talk about the whole purpose of us even starting the foundation was to help with critical thinking. We talk about all these different reasons why critical thinking is such a essential skill for like navigating life, having discernment, but also it creates community. And I truly do believe gaming, like you said, Fletcher, is the centerpiece to be able to show different ways of having different careers. So like gaming industry is so big, you can be able to do things around coding, you can do things around engineering in video games. People who like to make music, you can make music for video games. If you want to be an actor, you can be a voice actor for video games. If you like fashion, you can create costume design for video games. We're just trying to open up that world that people just does not believe that it actually exists, to be able to have tangible careers, tangible intern opportunities, even tangible volunteer opportunities, because through our foundation, we can be able to shape you with learning from other people who work in the gaming industry, so it can shape your roadmap as well. But it's all circled around how we can be able to tailor gaming in all many ways. It's just a hook, as we like to say, to any experience.
Well, there is a hook this weekend, and that is the GOT Game Tournament. It's hosted by BGG Foundation at St. Louis County Library's Clark Family Branch. So what can people expect at this year's tournament?
Expect some fiery competition. Expect some real passionate gamers to be out. Expect to not win. If you expect them to come out there and think it's an easy dub, it's not an easy dub. So don't expect that. But also expect just to have a good time. Expect to win a PlayStation 5. Expect to win a Switch 2. Expect to get on stream. Expect community.
Very quickly.
And what I would like to say is expect, actually you said it, the community.
Yeah.
We will be all there supporting and playing. Yeah. So if you happen to just see me or Rob somewhere, go ahead and say, hey, we heard you on the radio.
That's right. And we expect to see our championship belts. We have tons of cool championship belts. You can be able to get on stream with us and just pour into this gaming community that we love so much.
It sounds like a great time.
Yes.
Rob Powell is founder and CEO of BGG Foundation, and Fletcher Springfield is an esports athlete and a rising freshman at Southeast Missouri State University. Thank you both for joining us today, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The GOT Game Tournament is this Saturday, July 25th at St. Louis County Library's Clark Family Branch. Registration is open now until 11 a.m. Saturday, and the games begin at noon. Learn more at thebggfoundation.org. That's THEBGGfoundation.org.
This episode was produced by Maya Norfleet.
Our audio engineer is Aaron Dorr. This podcast was mixed and edited by Aaron.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations, and leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thank you.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Laura Hamden, and my colleague Jessica Rogan and I are your daily hosts of the Gateway newsletter. We meet with the editors in the STLPR newsroom every weekday to bring you the top local stories of the day in a quick and easy 6-minute read by 6 a.m. In an age of overwhelm, it's a refreshing, thoughtful take on the news day, if we do say so ourselves. Fine-tune your daily news habit with the Gateway newsletter. Subscribe at stlpr.org/gateway.